Hi, welcome to the Wired
and Rewired podcast, a podcast all about the hit HBO series, The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1,000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
So if you're new to the force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. Today we are covering Season 2, Episode 7, Backwash. And as always, we begin by popping a recap. Sabatka gives his lobbyist grief over the status of port legislation. Russell tells Sabatka the investigation is over, but a port computer is cloned, and when a container goes missing, the detectives follow. Simultaneously, Greggs and Prez tap into a circuit of Russian prostitutes. With two sets of evidence, the detail goes to Perlman. Neither crime merits wiretap, but a drug connect could give the case legs. Rawls can't persuade Daniels to take the murders, but new evidence does. In the discordant Barksdale Empire, Bell tries to hold it together in the wake of a recent tragedy. The episode was written by Rafael Alvarez, and it was directed by Thomas J. Wright. And it premiered on July 13th, 2003. Thomas J. Wright has kind of an interesting videography. He's done a bunch of single-episode director stints, but nothing particularly consistent that I was able to see. And this is his only time directing on The Wire. So I don't know if that played a part in how you kind of viewed the episode.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to think about that.
I was kind of thinking about the episode itself, and overall, we'll get your feelings on it. But so I'll see how that goes. But just a quick reminder, the Rafael Alvarez, this is the second time writing an episode, and he was interviewed by Alan Sepinwall. So I have a little bit of details here and there about their interview and some background on some of the things that went into this episode. So, all right. Well, with all that said, why don't you break off the epigraph?
Okay. It's, don't worry, kid. You're still on the clock.
Yeah.
From Kusa.
Yep. It's a bit of a tragic thing here.
It is.
Okay. Well, before we get into the episode, I did have to play a clip. So just to absolve myself of any guilt that I felt over my disgusting comments about Kristen Proctor's topless scene, I'm going to play a clip from Dominic West and Michael K. Williams that was from the last episode that we just completely forgot because of the bombshell that got dropped in the middle. So,
yes.
But here we go. So I just want to get your thoughts on this. Okay, ready?
I miss Pablo, man. I miss Pablo. I miss Pablo's wife or girlfriend as well.
Yeah, boy. Nice set of knockers on her.
I thought that was the episode we were doing. The most fantastic, gratuitous shot of a woman's breasts in TV history.
Breasts are beautiful.
Amazing. And Bob Colesbury cast her off a video, fully clothed, and they had no idea until she took her top off that they were, beholding the eighth wonder of the world.
I bet you didn't there, Bob. God bless your soul.
All right, so
okay,
when you have that commentary in your mind as you're listening,
sure,
and you're watching that scene,
a great deal of appreciation for her breasts.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, I don't know why, but Dominic West and Michael K. Williams came off far less creepy than I did. But
it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I just thought that was funny, and it was worth sharing. And I'll tell you, it was actually pretty hard to dig that up, so I feel like it justified it.
Right.
But that's how deep my guilt ran from my disgusting comments.
I have to find somebody else that agreed with
me. All right, okay, enough about that. So, any other thoughts about D'Angelo's death with some reflection? Because I did have one, but I want to give you the floor.
I mean, first off, I did listen to my reaction like 3 times.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. I did not expect that. And I have gone back and I've watched that moment that he is being strangled. And I have to say, it looks like he's passing out. That does not look like somebody who is being killed.
Okay.
So I just challenge everybody else to watch it one more time and tell me, does that look like somebody is dying in that moment? Because if you're being strangled, you're having your air cut off, you are going to be kicking and bucking and fighting hard. And he's just like, got the belt around his neck, and then he's like, go out.
Yeah, like the end of Batman, Dark Knight Rises. That woman just like,
yes, exactly, like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can see my face, but I really sold it.
Well,
so the thing that I was going to say though is, first of all, I listened to it again as well, and I laughed. Like I was editing it, and I laughed, and then I listened to the cut episode, and I laughed. It was just, it was incredible. It was so good, so
loud.
Good. So. I
think I said, Chris, what the fuck?
Yes.
Did da-da-da-dee-da.
Yeah.
Like I literally stuttered it.
Yeah. I mean, I truly this is intended to be a spoiler-free podcast. So I did feel immediately guilty because I'm like, I can't believe I did that. I just never, and when Kima got shot,
yeah.
Ellie texts me and says, "Did Kima just die?" And I said, "I don't know." And I played it really cool. And this time I just
for sure she died.
Yeah. So clearly I have to work on my poker face a little bit better. It's okay. In any case,
I did see why it seemed obvious though with everything leading up to that.
But I did want to ask about Dee's comments on The Great Gatsby. Again, I know we talked about this, but he, just with some reflection, I thought he said, it doesn't matter that some fool say he's different.
Right.
And the whole episode is D'Angelo, I feel like, saying he's different, but forgetting what he did and who he was before and the rules that applied to him. So, I don't think it's not, what's the word, groundbreaking or anything like that, but I did feel like I did feel like he really was talking about himself, and the Gatsby character did apply to him, I think, a little bit more than I think I recognized the first time we went through.
Okay.
So, I don't know. That sun, okay? Cold water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Ellie is very discerning.
I'll take it.
So. Okay. All right, well, let's move on to the next episode, and we will deal with the aftermath of this. Any initial thoughts or questions about the episode?
No questions to get started.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let us...
And I like it. It's a good episode. Threads are coming together.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I love how they're weaving together in ways that I did not expect.
Yes. Okay, cool.
So that's been fun.
All right, great. Well, let's get it. Let's first touch on your predictions.
Okay.
So, Dee's mom is going to find out. So, nope, nothing to see there. Horseface gets killed. I'm gonna let you strike that one off because you can keep throwing that out, I guess, if you want. But if you want to pull that back,
all right.
McNulty is going to keep trying to sweet talk Elena. Got that right.
Okay.
Well done. You clearly know your man. Ziggy is going to do something stupid, which not really.
Yeah, not the way that I thought.
No, Bunk and Beatty will get their first hint of what's going to happen off the dock. Boom, got that. Good job. Death Grip Rebrand will work. So what do you think?
No, it's not working.
No, it's not.
No,
Okay.
it's not working.
Yep. Okay. And no bumper sticker this week. But again, we're just giving that it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's just when it will happen.
That one's just
got it.
Waiting in the wings.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, that is that. So let's get started.
All right. Well, I have a few storylines. As I said, they're starting to weave together, so not as many, but we'll probably be chatting about them for a little bit longer. I've got Stringer acts alone, the tennis ball tragedy. Screen time finally pays off. I've got Frank's got no fucks left to give, and all the single jimmies. How are you? So let's start with Stringer. Okay, so actually, before we get to Stringer, we start out with Bodhi in a floral shop, and he is looking at funeral arrangements. A guy takes him to the back and shows him arrangements that they have waiting in the back with GATs and money symbols and cell phones. They are talking. He says, I can do these in any color and, pink. And no, pink's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Pink is not okay. And we hear through this conversation that the way Dee passed is by suicide. Bodhi says he was weak, though it's not a reason to drag his name through the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Bodhi ends up settling on an arrangement that looks like the high-rise housing projects. It's got to have a big 221 on it. He wants strong colors, reds, blacks, yellows. And when he's asked if he wants to have any kind of message on it, like rest in peace, he says, no message.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Yep.
We are waiting to see what this arrangement looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, we wasn't all that tight, but he was still my nigga,
I think I'm on it. Follow me.
Hell yeah. See, this what I'm talking about.
That gat and grip thing over there sells a lot. We can do that in white or red or pink carnations.
Pink?
Your boy was too fierce for the pink?
Nah, he wasn't all that, but damn. When you stand with a nigga, you stand with him to the end. Otherwise, you ain't nothing yourself.
True that. How your boy fall?
Hung himself. Over at the cut, man. Strung himself up. Judge ran wild on his ass. Gave him 20. I guess he couldn't handle all them years, It's a weak-ass nigga when you think about it. But ain't no reason to drag his name down no further, I tell you what. Let me get something strong colors, right? Red, black, whatever. But make it look like one of them towers down on Franklin Terrace. You know, the high rises, right?
You want the arrangement to look like a high-rise housing project?
Hell yeah, yeah. And put the numbers 221 in big-ass numbers on the front. All right? He used to have that Fremont Tower for a while.
221. All right. Anything else you wanted to say?
Like what?
Rest in peace and remembrance, something like that? Something that says how you feel about the loss.
Look, man, fuck it, all right? Just make sure the towers look like they do, all right?
Yeah, I think the only thing I would just mention is I loved the code switching that happened with the florist.
Oh yeah,
I think I'm on it,
yes,
and then
and
goes
takes
back
it to the back.
Yeah,
yep.
I feel like that's just a really, it was really clever, and I really enjoyed the actor's portrayal of it. I also thought, I'm wondering what you think about this when the florist asks how you feel about the loss, and Bodhi just goes, fuck it. You know what I mean? And
yes.
I was like, it kind of really reflects how little equipped these boys are to deal with a loss like that. They just don't know how to deal with it.
They don't. Instead of having a message, he just pulls out a gigantic wad of cash to pay for something really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate because you feel like if they knew how to deal with it, they might be able to process it better. And, who knows how they carry with them, right?
I know. It made me wonder, actually, in that moment, too, like what kind of a funeral Wallace got, if any.
Oh, that's a really good question.
I know. Made me sad.
Yeah. That is pretty sad. Oh, yeah. See,
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. All right.
Put you in that
forge ahead.
Okay.
Okay, forge ahead.
All right. The guy from DC is back to collect on the job of killing D. And, he says job was done. The prison thinks it was a suicide. And then the guy asks Avon, the guy asks Stringer if Avon knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a pause. And I was shocked. I really thought that was Avon's call. I was surprised Stringer did it. Yeah, I thought like that moment when the Avon and Dee are looking at each other in the hallway, and Dee gives Avon a dirty look, like a dirty, fuck you look. That made me think like Avon was the one that was responsible, and he was the one that was saying earlier, I've been good to him, ain't I? Which he says again. So yeah, I really did not think Stringer acted on his own on that one. So
okay,
that surprised me.
So you wait, sorry, just to make sure I tracked it. So you thought that after D'Angelo was killed, you were under the impression that Avon ordered it.
Yes.
Okay, and then you watched this.
And then I watched this and I was like, oh my gosh, Stringer did that all on his own. Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. Okay. Stringer is just the worst liar. It's weird. It's like he shakes his head very slightly and you're like, dude,
Yeah.
Okay, so you're admitting that now. Like, just kind of crazy to me that, dude, just say it's not your business. Like, why wait? Why shake your head first and then wait?
I know.
And then say that. So that was, and that was the same thing we talked about when D'Angelo was asking Stringer about where Wallace was. It's just say, I don't know.
Yeah,
Instead,
exactly.
he sits there and he clearly is answering the question. So, yeah. So, yeah, it I don't know. But on the other hand, what is it like the telltale heart? Like a, guilty conscience will always like reveal itself. True. So he's got that to deal with. So, yeah.
Okay, well, we are inside the prison, and Avon and Weebay are eating some ribs. Definitely not prison food. Avon cannot eat it. He is upset. And, Weebay says, hey, this wasn't on you. They come to the conclusion that Dee did this to hurt Avon so that they would be in this situation and, dealing with this like we are right now. Anyways, again, Avon wants the validation that he was good to Dee, which Bay gives him. And then, Weebay says it might have been for the best that it happened. Which in that moment, too, I was like, oh, are Avon's wheels going to start turning about, this is really pretty helpful that this happened in this moment that it happened. But it doesn't seem to at that time. So in the future, it will, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only connection that I made to this scene, and I like Weebay's kind of being this sort of counsel to Avon. It's kind of interesting there. But I felt like, though, I don't know if it was intentional, but when Weebay went to see Avon the first time, Avon had KFC. And he's like, you want to get down on this? And you better get up in here. And Weebay's like, nah, man, I ain't hungry or whatever. And so then it's reversed. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if there's something about food being the comfort or whatever it is. But in any case, yeah, I mean, Wood Harris in this episode is really plays Avon. He's doing such a great job of, you can clearly see the anguish that he's playing through. So And so there is a interesting comment that Alan Sepinwall made about that Avon's comment about he knew that we would be in a moment thinking about this, and he did this to hurt me. And it apparently that's a kind of common thought process among police officers. When a police officer dies by suicide, they kind of, the ones who feel, kind of the most pain, blame the victim because they know that the victim is, or they believe that the victim was doing it to make them process the crime scene. I see. And so there's kind of an interesting connection there. I don't know, if that's why they included it, but it's pretty common. So,
that is interesting.
But it is a process of grief, right? You have to get mad at somebody, and you can't just get mad at whatever. You have to put it somewhere. And so Avon is clearly putting that on D'Angelo.
Yep.
So,
ugh.
Yeah.
God, I hate it.
Yep.
Stringer shows up at Brianna's house later. He checks in with Donette, who's in the kitchen. There's family there. They're supporting her. They're making meals and whatnot. Donette even looks kind of upset, but Brianna looks like destroyed. Yeah. And he, like a big asshole, goes in there and sits behind her and puts his hand on her shoulder to console her. And like the moment he does that, she lets out these big sob. And it's so... my gosh, it just makes you so angry. Like, wow, I cannot believe that he has the gall to go in there and sit with the mother of the man he had killed.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, he's in a bit of a weird place, though, right? Because if he doesn't do that, that would be even weirder.
I know. He's got to.
Yeah.
He's got to just play this the way it is.
Yeah.
But, woo.
Yeah. Oh, no, but you're right. But knowing what we know, it is really creepy.
It is so creepy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think Michael Hyatt, the Brianna, I don't think she says any actual words in this episode, but it's just incredible. Like her acting is
her sob that she lets out, you feel it to your core, man. It is just so Yeah. Yeah. It is. It just makes you even madder at Stringer for like eliciting it from her and making her think that she was in a moment of, that she could be vulnerable when she's there with the murder of her boy, basically.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, let's leave that. Okay. Let's leave that scene there.
Yeah, let's go on to another scene that makes me mad, which is Dee's funeral.
Yep.
Beautiful singer that they have singing a cappella, Jesus on the Main Line. Everyone's sad. Brianna looks terrible. Rain starts falling totally appropriately. Even Prop Joe is there paying his respects. He gives Stringer a little side glance there. Poot compliments the funeral arrangement that Bodie brought. We have a moment when now that the service has ended and the casket's going to be lowered and people are putting their red roses on the casket. Brianna kind of tosses hers on there like, she's just upset about everything. And then, you watch Stringer put that red rose on there and again, just want to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
But Prop then comes to talk to Stringer. He recommends a proposition, hence the name, I suppose. And he says basically like your drugs are weak, but you guys have a lot of territory. And, I know they're weak. People are coming over to our side to get drugs all the time now. And he says, how about you give up some of that territory, that turf to me, and, you can get some better drugs in exchange. And Stringer, he says Avon worked really hard for that, kind of talks about some of the previous, gangs or whatever that he had to overtake to be able to come into that property. But he does say that ultimately he'll talk to Avon about this idea. So,
yep.
Yeah. And Prop Joe is like very civilized about it. He's just like, hey, I'm just, this is a situation. I'm just presenting it to you.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry for the loss. Y'all sent him off right, though. As good a homecoming as I've been to.
Well, you've been to your share, man. I know.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Of course, this is neither the time nor the place, but I thought I might get at you for a moment. Got a proposition here.
Go ahead for the call, man.
Ain't exactly talking out of turn when I say that West Side dope been weak for a while now. Every dope fiend in the city know that Avon been putting out piss and calling this shit. And the thing is, y'all sitting on some of the best real estate in the city. The terrace, the low rises, the avenue corners.
Now, respecting the fact that you known to having a way with your words, man, when the fuck you gonna tell me something I don't know?
All right. Let me put a point on it. My shit is right straight. I got dope coming straight into Baltimore and the shit be raw. 85, 90%. And you know it's true. You got half the West Side coming over the Falls Way twice a day because East Side dope be kicking the shit out of West Side dope.
Connected, huh?
And the shit is straight off the damn boat. I ain't even going to New York except for my coke strain. Ain't no need. Thing is, y'all got the best territory and no kind of product. I got the best product, but could stand a little more territory so you see where this thing need to go.
Well, now, you know Avon fought real hard for them towers. I mean, we took down the Rayford brothers, Big Dennis Woodson, I mean.
Should've just been the strain. Buy for $1, sell for $2. That all it need be. You got the towers, I got what goes in them. Later for all that bullshit.
I'll talk to Avon.
You do that, Holmes. Do that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that his comment of buy for $1, sell for $2. That,
Yeah, exactly.
You know, later for all that gangster bullshit, like then, you know.
Yes,
that's
yeah.
all it need be.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, first of all, Robert Chu he's just so good.
Yeah.
So good. But yeah, and so a couple of things. So the first thing is you brought up the notion back in, what was it, episode 3 when they're learning about the chess game.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked about the
who's
opposing king. And of course, that's what's really interesting is that Stringer and of course Avon even more so, like Avon, like it's not even a thought, we'll get to that later.
Right.
But you know, there's like, well, we are holding on to this, essentially our spot on the board.
Yep.
And the notion of collaborating with the other king or, you know, is not something you've ever really considered.
Exactly.
But of course, Prop Joe is like, we don't have to be going at each other as
this
opposition.
Doesn't have to be violent.
Yeah.
We don't have to, you know, fight each other for the space. So
yeah. So that part is very interesting. And of course, like there's that other part of it too, which is just to connect it back, like the Greek Vaughn has said, buy for a nickel, sell for a dime. It's like, it's just business, right?
Yes.
And so
yes.
the emotions that get into it, that clearly like Avon is bringing in, it just doesn't matter when it comes to business. You know, it's not, exactly. It doesn't have to be there. So yeah. So and of course now it sets up this new kind of conflict, and it is interesting how the death of D'Angelo is what sort of brings it to bear. So pretty interesting.
Well, Stringer does go and talk to Avon. First, they kind of talk about the funeral, and you know, Stringer's asking Avon if Brianna's putting that on you, like making you feel guilty for what happened. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the Stringer then asks, you know, oh, did you know he was using? And, you know, Avon's like, I knew, but I didn't know. Anyhow, Avon asked how Brianna was at the funeral. And, you know, of course she was hurting. And again, Stringer tries to alleviate Avon's guilt. Same thing. It ate on you. I'd tell you if it was, you know, they like pound fist through the glass as, you know, this show of solidarity. And it is kind of a tense moment where you're like, how well is Stringer going to be able to pull this off? There's a lot of these shots like of his eyes kind of close up and, you know, like, so you can kind of, it's really well done. Just so you can see that little bit of, you know, did you know he was using? You just like kind of the change of his tone there. Anyhow, they say the other thing, well, that's still not going well. Stringer says, do you want to discount it? And Avon says, this is Kmart. And that's when Stringer shares Prop Joe's proposition. And Avon is an instant no. Yeah. Instant no in that moment. And that just kind of shuts it down right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avon, you knew he was using?
You know, I seen it, but
but I didn't see it. I mean, he came up off that shit, and we did our thing with that guard. And I thought, fuck. Well, we did our thing with the homegoing, man. I mean, it came off nice. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody showed. How'd Brianna do? Rough. You know, don't nobody want no shit like this to happen, man. If I would have known the boy was gonna be doing some shit like that, man, you know what I mean? What are the prison people saying? That he just hung himself like that? Just tied a rope around a knob, sat his ass down. Yo. I mean, how the fuck you gonna stop a man from doing some shit like that? Huh? I mean, what are you gonna do? Stay with him every damn minute, every day you can? I mean, he gonna find a way if he wants to. It ain't on you. It ain't on you. I would tell you if it was.
Yeah, Stringer has not learned the negotiation skills that he needs, I guess.
I know.
So,
No, those business classes.
yeah. So you mentioned that you noticed Stringer kind of looking the way he was looking. Anything in particular? Just like you meant commented on his eyes, or
Yeah, you can just tell like he is trying to make Avon reflect more on Dee's use of drugs in the prison, and pointing to that as the the reason for the death, and to get the light as far away from him as possible. Yeah. That's an excellent point. I don't know that I thought about it that much when I first saw it, or even recently, where I was like, oh yeah, by putting it the focus on him using drugs, the really does, like, as Avon said to Dee earlier, it's like that's the weak man's road, right. And so it makes it a lot more plausible that he would just end up just committing suicide. Yes. Yeah, let's just make sure everybody accepts that story and keep bringing it up.
Yeah. So there's a couple other comments I would want to make. I think there's something really great about Idris Elba's performance in that the way he asks Avon about what the detectives, I guess, or the prison people are saying about he's like, so he just sat down like that, and
oh yeah, exactly.
And
yes.
You can tell that he's trying to be curious, but he's also betraying his inner thoughts.
Yes.
So, he does a really good job of selling that kind of thing. If you don't know that he's responsible, then you think he's just asking a question. Yes. But if you do, then you can see that he's revealing something, which is really cool. So just really appreciate that. And as I said before, Wood Harris, like, just the way that he is dealing with Avon, portraying Avon dealing with the grief, it's really something. I think there's also something very interesting about the timing for Stringer. Like, they want to get down to business, but clearly Avon's emotional. So bringing up Prop Joe's idea then is really problematic, because when you're in an emotional state, you can't make any good decisions, right? So and of course Avon is just now lashing out, or he can't see any kind of
objectively.
So okay, well I think that's the end of the Avon Stringer storyline. Am I correct?
Yes,
okay.
You are.
Okay,
so let's move on to Nikki. Nick's talking to Frog. Frog wants an even split on selling the heroin for him. Nick is like, come closer. Frog's a little scared, but basically breaks down for him, like, number one, you're a white guy from Locust Point, so talk like a white guy from Locust Point. And number two, I'm a white guy from Locust Point, and that's why I need to have a contract, and I need this, and this to happen for this job to go forward. And Frog ultimately agrees, respects Nick, and agrees. There is this woman that is looking out her screen door at what's going on, and she's got this very wary look on her face. She's been listening, and it's just like, I'm sure Nick does not get those kinds of dirty, suspicious looks ever. But here he is. He's, making drug deals on the stoop.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. It's just the collateral damage that he didn't anticipate.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now he's one of those.
Yeah.
Nah, but see, that ain't the way it works, yo. It ain't. Cause like, I don't want out here all day taking a chance, right? I'm saying police roll up into this bitch and ain't gonna be you to catch no charge. See, leastwise, the thing you need to do, lay all that good shit down on an even split, yo. Come Friday, me and my niggas done sold all that shit off, come past and get paid. That's where I'm at with it.
Hey, Frog. Come here. No, serious. Come here. First of all, and I don't know how to tell you this without hurting you deeply. First of all, you happen to be white. I'm talking raised on Rapola Street white, where your mama used to drag you down to St. Casimir's just like all the other little piss pants on the block. Second, I'm also white. Not hang on the corner, don't give a fuck white, but Locust Point, IBS, Local 47 white. I don't work without no fucking contract. And I don't stand around listening to horseshit excuses like my cousin Ziggy, who, by the way, is still owed money by you and all your down, streetwise wiggers. You go in your pocket, come up with $500 in advance and the $210 that you owe to Zig. You can work my package.
I'm saying, this is the shit you had out here last week. The dimes and Moochie was slinging. Shit was good. Moochie sold out quick. All right. I'm saying, I'm gonna send my man around with the dollars. Keep it real, y'all.
Whatever. Yo.
I did look up Rapola Street, which is what he accuses Frog where he was from, which I don't quite understand why there's a difference, but it's in Greektown in Baltimore. You can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for $300,000 there for whatever that's worth. That was the listing. That was what came up when I looked up Rapola Street, Baltimore. But yeah, and then, so that I thought that was kind of interesting. So I don't know exactly like how the two neighborhoods play off each other, where Nick grew up versus where Rapola Street is. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. But the old woman living in the, it looks like, it doesn't look like the pit. Right. With vacant houses or anything like that.
Agreed.
And so I think that's probably what Nick was envisioning.
Yeah.
And then he sees that there's actually somebody living there.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything, and now has to walk past drug dealers on the way to their house. Yeah. Yep. So, and you can see that he's a little bit conflicted, but not so conflicted that he has to buy a new truck.
Exactly. That is very true. Okay, so while this is going on, Carv and Herc are in some kind of a store that sells like security items. Mm-hmm. And they tell the guy they need a mic for, quote, the modern urban crime environment. And there is one that's perfect. They can get it for $12.50 with the discount that they give to officers. And, Car's like, I guess we're not getting that. And Herc's like, put it on your card and then we'll test run it for 48 hours and we'll return it. And I think, everybody knows what's going to happen at that point. There's no mystery there. We're going to get like two goofballs messing up the situation.
Yep.
Yeah. So Herc does take the mic. He puts it in an old tennis ball, which does look pretty clever, right? And they set it up on the street, and Herc is listening to the mic, and he's listening to Frog talk while Carv is taking photos. And Herc's like, isn't technology the fucking bomb? And I should say that like in that moment, we actually go back to a scene with Frank and looking at the robotics. So it is purposefully that line is put there on purpose.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Anyways, going back to Nick, he comes into Dolores's bar. Horace asks him if he's worked at all the past week, and he says no. And it seems like he easily could have if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But Nick gives Ziggy the money that he was owed by Frog when he, Frog, if we remember from a couple of episodes again, Frog sold his drugs but pretended that he didn't get all the money he was supposed to get.
Yep.
Ziggy doesn't look too happy about getting that money. He says it was my thing, but you're handling that business better.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's kind of jealous about it. Anyways, then you see that Maui has put a song on the jukebox and he salutes to Nick and Ziggy. And Zig shows a letter to Nick that indicates there's a paternity claim against him.
Yep.
He has apparently knocked up Prissy Catlow. And Prissy Catlow is apparently very promiscuous.
Yeah.
Anyways, have you called this lawyer yet? And Zig has not called the lawyer yet. Instead, he's decided that he is going to get drunk first.
Yeah.
So, something's up.
Yeah.
Already.
Oh, so you picked that up immediately?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just, the salute
I
to
see.
them. I was just like, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but I knew there was something going on. Okay. So later we catch up and Zig is trying to kiss some girl's neck. It's really gross.
Yeah.
She's pushing him away.
Yep.
She's disgusted by him. And whatever, Nick doesn't really care. He's just like, how'd you receive these papers?
Yeah.
Not why are you molesting that woman? Anyways, they weren't served. And he mentions somebody else that he knows when they got paternity claim against them that the papers were served to them. And, at this moment, Maui and the boys are laughing big time. And the music starts up again. And the music is Love Child.
Yeah.
So Nick's like, hey, I'm going to call this lawyer. And as soon as he does, the call goes to Maui.
Yeah.
And so it was them playing a joke. Payback, I am sure, for the photos Zig put on Maui's computer.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that was it for that whole scene.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's more with Nick, but that was the whole scene in Dolores's with the joke.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing I was going to add, just picking up on the Ziggy just going after this woman.
I was just like, what the hell?
It's thankfully, Ziggy is such a wimp that she's easily fights him off.
Yes.
But it is kind of funny. He's like, you literally have a potential child on the way, and here you are going after some other girl. It's pretty funny. There was a little moment in that when they're kind of going over the paternity test, and Ziggy and Nick share their cigarette. I don't know that I don't know that I've ever shared a cigarette with somebody, but I just thought that was kind of a cool little moment.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of sharing it back and forth.
Yeah.
Frank and Ziggy did it in the last episode as well. So it's just one of those things where, at least for right now, it kind of indicated to me that they were still, even though Ziggy wasn't grateful, they're still kind of buds. You know what I mean? And they're still on good terms. But Ziggy, his response to Nick bringing this money in, I feel like is, I'm trying to, I don't know, I don't have a fully formed thoughts on these, but it's just that he just feels the reward that he's getting, because he's not really earning it. He doesn't celebrate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that kind of,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of an interesting component to, it wasn't just about getting money. There's something else, some other validation he's looking for.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Okay.
There is.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, well, Nick comes out of his nice new truck and he is talking to Frog again. And Frog picks up the tennis ball that has the mic in it and he starts bouncing it. And this is Frog is the one that Herc was doing hand-to-hands with, or one of the people, but I just didn't even think about the fact that when Nick started talking to Frog, now he could be somehow wound up in these hand-to-hands.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God, crap. But also, like these are storylines coming together.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
which I just didn't see this one in particular.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, he starts bouncing this tennis ball and Herc can't hear anything that's going on. And then out of nowhere, Frog just takes the ball and chucks it down the street. Herc keeps on listening into this like an idiot. And then Carv is chasing the ball through traffic. You can hear like him swearing and all the things through the mic still. And inevitably it is smashed by a truck. And poor Carver looks like he's gonna die.
Yeah. Yep.
A little bit of comic relief for us.
Yeah, exactly. Herc and Carver, good comic relief this episode. So
yes.
I did wonder though. They stole 20,000 probably when they raided the stash house in season
you're
1.
So right, yes.
So man, you're already like out of money.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, 1,000
cards are maxed out.
Yeah, exactly. So, boy, you guys got to learn how to take care of your
That's
finances.
right.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that's
that.
the end of it. I don't know that I thought that it would end badly, but that is. But you picked it up right where you predicted it pretty much from the beginning.
God, yeah. I knew that mic was getting destroyed.
Okay.
Yes. There's no way that these writers are going to let Carv and Herc come away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and by the way, Chuck Thompson was the Baltimore Orioles and Baltimore Colts play-by-play guy. Is who the equipment guy said. It sounds like Chuck Thompson doing play-by-play. So
I get it.
Just thought I'd share that little tidbit. So,
thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, continue.
Well, let's see here. Nick is back at the docks, and he gives Frank and Horse the details for the next shipment. And then, Frank points out, too, that Nick has not been working much, warns him to stay close, not do anything he wouldn't do. Later, Nick comes down to his basement room at his parents' home, and Amy's there, and he tells her that she can start looking for 2-bedroom places. And she wants to know where the money is from. And, he makes up some BS about, I'm working these other jobs, and it dovetails nicely with what I'm doing at the docks, so it's great. But, she's happy and he's happy.
Yep.
They look happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't call this a life lesson, but you know what they say is if you're going to lie, make it like close enough to the truth. And so I think he's working for Gleekus, the guy they bought.
Yes, exactly.
So
that
it's
they
like,
took the camp.
Oh yeah, sure, I know. Yeah, what's his name? Oh, I worked at George Gleekus's place.
Yeah.
You know him. You know. So, and I think even if somebody actually asked, he probably could have them cover up for him if he needed to. So yeah.
Oh, I bet.
So yeah, just a little. If you're going to lie, make it close to the truth so you don't have less to remember.
Right.
So, but don't lie. It's not a good idea. But in any case.
Yes.
Okay.
This next part, I was confused about this. So Carver and Herc are parked at Nick Sabatka's house, right? So Carver, he's upset about the loss of the money for the wire. They're parked there. They're saying, Sabatka, oh, sound familiar? Carver's like, doesn't that sound familiar to you? And, the guy that we're supposed to be looking at, Frank Sabatka, how many Sabatkas can there be?
Yeah.
And so, they put together, there must be a relation of Frank Sabatka or something. But I'm just kind of confused about the part of the conversation after that, like registering him or that, I don't know. They make it sound like they'll make more money by doing that. And then Herc's like, Carver needs to talk to Daniels about. Anyways, I was really confused about that part.
Sabatka? That's what it says here. Mean anything to you? Yo, Beavis. That's the name of the guy who was supposed to be working. Frank Sabatka.
We got Nicholas.
How many fucking Sabatkas can there be, even down here in Pollock Town?
You know what this means?
What?
It means old Fuzzy Dunlop here, somewhat worse for wear, I admit, is really gonna start paying off as a confidential informant.
No fucking way.
Are you on 1250? Because linking a street-level drug connect to our main target has to be worth a couple of hundred for starters. Listen, if I try to register him, Daniels will smell a rat. He trusts you, Carv. You got that trustworthy look?
Can you explain that to me?
So let's see, I'm trying to think of. How about I won't answer it directly. It will be answered in the next episode.
Okay.
So just hang on to that question
Okay.
and let me know at the end of the next episode if you're still confused.
Okay. It's like if you want to start investigating somebody, do you need to register them? Is that, and they have to ask permission to register him?
So you remember when Kima would pay, or McNulty would pay Bubs for
Yes.
the hat trick or whatever?
Yes. They did
That's-
say CI, something
Yeah,
about
yeah.
CI. Okay.
So you
okay.
register a CI, and then you can pay the CI, and then you get reimbursed for it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Got
yeah.
it. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Huh?
That's enough for
That's-
me
okay.
to get an idea of at least what they were talking about.
Yeah,
Without
so-
giving me too much.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's it for those guys.
Okay, I do like how Carver's just lamenting. He says $1,500, and and
Yes.
Herc tries to make him feel better with $1,250 with the police discount.
Yeah, exactly.
So just
50 with the police
good
discount.
stuff. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it.
All right, well, let's move on to Bunk and Beatty and Freeman. Bunk and Beatty are explaining about the computer cloning to Landsman, and Landsman's super annoyed. He says, Rawls won't like it. And they say, well, that's why we're doing this over at Daniel's Detail. And, it's clear they want something more from him. Landsman walks out angrily, which is apparently approval.
Yeah.
And Bunk also tells Beatty in this moment that they need the dock workers to think that they aren't sniffing around anymore. So they need to start thinking about how they're going to make that happen. Later, we see Daniels and Rawls talking, and Landsman is there, sitting on the couch on the side. And so we find out here Rawls wants Daniels to take the murders and add it to his detail, and Daniels simply says, no.
Yep.
It's just so simple and clean. I just kind of loved it in that moment. He says, I'm trying to keep it simple and clean, on drug arrest, some prostitution busts, and that's it. I'm just trying to get out of evidence. In the meanwhile, oh my God, Rawls is just eating an orange like an asshole, like a major ass. How do you eat an orange like an asshole? He does.
Yeah.
He does. I eat an orange every single day, and I don't eat it like an asshole. God. Oh, I just hate that character.
Yeah.
Rawls. I mean, kudos to that actor. What was his name?
John Doman.
He's doing a great job at making me hate him. Way to go.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the way he eats the orange, but it is. It's just you
yes,
really hate him.
it's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna rule the land of oranges or something. Sorry, that's so dumb, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to say that there was something resonant with the way that Daniel said no to the way that Rawls said no.
Yeah.
Just a favor. No. And then
so true.
Daniel just looks at him, and there's almost like a smile on his
I know.
face of just no.
Nope.
Oh God.
Nope.
I need that on. Like I need a button that
Yes.
just says the Daniels no.
But the Daniels know is
Yeah.
excellent.
Okay.
I loved it. All right. Beatty comes through Patapsco looking just like the same old Beatty. Frank says hi to her and asks, where's your friend Bunk? And she says, oh, well, that whole thing's not going forward. You guys, they brought you in. You didn't talk. And so, yep, that's the end of that. And not only that, but I'm moving to Fairfield. And Frank flirts with her. Says she's too pretty for Fairfield. I'm sure she gets that sort of thing a lot in what she does. But it's been successful, right? Like they don't think that these guys are, on the case anymore, which is what they wanted.
Where's your friend?
Who's that?
The black fella, the homicide guy.
Case is done for all I know.
Yeah?
Yeah, you all didn't go for nothing, and no one on the ship did either, so they sent me back and moved on to new business.
So, you're back to the usual then?
Yeah, the usual. Except I won't be around Patapsco or North Point much.
No?
Starting tomorrow, I'm down at the Fairfield terminals.
Fairfield?
Yeah, bosses want another car patrolling the chemical plants. Because of terrorism, I guess.
You're too pretty for the Fairfield Piers, darling. You need to be uptown here with us.
Next up, Freeman is looking at the computer, and Bunk's looking on, and Beatty comes in, and he is watching one that isn't on the telco line, one that they know is not going to be disappearing from the pattern that they've seen so far. And they're just like, well, why are you doing that? You're wasting your time. But he does point out, Freeman does, he needs to know how it works normally to have as like a control, like a comparison point for him, which is, that's the way that his mind works, right? Like we know that from the first season, which I love that stays true to him in this as well. We've got Kima waiting outside a gentleman's club, quote, gentleman's club. Prez comes out and he enters the car. He says, there's a lot of pretty women in there. From the accents, sounded like they were Russians. And he points out, this is the second time we hear this too, that there's some kind of like a madam or something, a woman in her 40s. So that, the fact that came up again sounds like it's going to be important. Anyways, Kima enjoys poking fun at him again. She's just so confident with women, and I think she just loves that he is not. It's cute, though. Yeah. Daniels and Marla now. Oh, okay. They are talking on the back porch. Or the front porch. I can't tell with those houses. Daniels is trying to explain why he is staying on the force instead of going into law as he had planned earlier. And he's trying to make a case that he's looking out for number one. He's playing their game. He's like, oh, yeah, Rawls took me in. He tried to get me to take these cases. And I told him no. See, I'm doing a good job. And, she just kind of shakes her head and leaves. So we know this is not going well. Yeah. And we'll revisit that in a moment. Yep. Anything you wanted to say yet?
No, keep going.
Okay. All right. Kima and Prez watch the girls walk out of the strip club, and there's a lot of muscle with them, right? Like a lot of super strong guys that are watching them and watching them get back into these cars. They follow that car, and then they go to a hotel. Kima goes in. She asks to use the bathroom as a cover for Prez to go over to the elevator and find out what floor the girls went to. And he finds out they went to the 6th floor. All of them are on the 6th floor. Okay, so we know that this whole thing with following the Russian girls is starting to pick up. Yep. Okay, let's go back to Freeman, Bink, and Buddy. Sorry, Freeman. Bunk and Beatty. Did I say Bink and Buddy?
You did. I like that, though. Bink and Buddy.
I'm sorry. Okay. Freeman's watching the computer again, and then, something pings here. Freeman sees that Horseface is going to be the shiprunner on the Talco line for the Esmeralda at noon the next day. So it's happening. Yep. And they're on it. Yep. Oh my gosh. All right. Bunk says, okay, like if we're going to follow this thing and see what happens, we're going to need some other faces. Can't be the three of us again. They've seen us. So Freeman says he'll ask Kima and Prez. And we have Freeman debriefing everyone. Now they've decided Prez will watch the truck go out. Kima will be at the terminal. She's got to go get a truck from narcotics. So she looks like she's like a worker. She can't just, be in there in her plain clothes. And who says like if it does what if it, oh, it's Prez. He's like, yeah, what if it doesn't work? And Freeman's like, oh, it doesn't work out. It's just another day in a life misspent in the service of Baltimore. Yep. Such a lovely line. Yeah. So Freeman. Okay. I love this part. This part was so exciting and super fun to watch. Okay. So the can comes. Pacusa's punching it in. They watch it on the computer. It disappears. Beatty spots it, right? Freeman gets the container number and tells it to Kima. And we see that Sergey is hooking the truck up to like the semi-truck thing, right? Whatever that's called. And when it goes out of the dockyard, it goes around the checkout. Kima keeps an eye on it, dressed as a worker, until it clears the yard. And then from that point, Prez follows it. And the whole time, it's like kind of tense. You're just like, oh, God, don't lose it. Don't lose it. You have to stay on it. Then it goes to Bunk. And then Bunk follows it to some kind of a yard where someone quickly comes out, closes a gate, and, runs down after the driver. And is some kind of a warehouse. It says like Pyramid Inc. Trucking and Warehouse. So they have followed it now as far as they can follow it.
Yep.
Kima catches up with Bunk later. He's been watching it for a while. You know, nothing. If people were in the can, they have not come out at all. So, yeah, I don't know. Should I pause there?
I mean, you're almost to the end, I think.
All right. So next up, we've got Rhonda Perlman's back. Okay. They lay out to her the evidence that they've got. So far, the connection between Frank calling Pacusa and the cans going missing. They say it's a conspiracy case. And she says, a conspiracy to do what? And I think Beatty's like, smuggle shit. And she's like, smuggle what?
Yeah.
You know, she's got this like look on her face like, anything else you want to tell me? And girls for prostitution. And she's like, do you guys even read what it is that you need to have for a wiretap? They don't have enough. Prostitution is apparently not something that can warrant a wiretap.
Not with this amount of evidence.
Yeah, not with this amount of evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drugs are.
Yeah.
But prostitution is not.
Yeah, that was pretty depressing.
Yeah. But I mean, Stark, like, you know, hey, this is the state of things.
Yep.
Like, be aware.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bunk tells Freeman, you have got to try to get Daniels to take these murders. You know, Daniels will only listen to you. You know, you put it in the right words. You know, you're the one here, the sage, wise one that they listen to. We all have a role to play. I love this. And Freeman's like, "What's your role?" He just says, "I'm a humble motherfucker with a big ass dick."
Yeah.
Ain't all that humble.
It's you, Lester. It's got to be you.
Me, huh?
We need to bring in the lieutenant, his detail, and all the manpower and toys that go with it. And Daniels listens when you talk. You got the smell of wisdom on you, brother. Now look, we all got roles to play.
What's your role?
I'm just a humble motherfucker with a big-ass dick.
You give yourself too much credit.
Okay, then. I ain't all that humble.
Oh, Bunk is so cute.
He's so cute.
Oh, my God. I love him. All right. Well, now Kima's watching the warehouse. And Sergey and another guy let a car in. And, oh, my God, the plot things. We find out, thanks to Kima's zoom in, that it is Prop Joe.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. I was not expecting that at all. A lot of surprises for me in this one, apparently. And we realize this is where he's getting his good drug connection.
Yep.
This is why he has the best drugs around.
Yep.
He is, and that's, I mean, we already knew that he knew Sergey, but I did not think that this was like the level of their connection.
Yep.
Right? That it was even this current. All right. Well, now Freeman talks to Daniels. You know, he tells him this case needs to be worked on by good police. And Daniels tells him, you know, well, Rawls wants me to take this case. And Freeman says, well, you should. You know, and basically lays a huge guilt trip on him. He says, you got to ask how you want to live your day to day, which is just what we know Daniels needs to hear to be the good guy again.
This case needs to be worked, Lieutenant. I know it began for you as a bullshit detail, but this Sabatka's into some shit that needs to be worked by good police. The DNRs, the clone computer, we got the pattern.
The Rawls came to me. Asked if I would take the homicides.
You should. Those girls in the can really suffocated, Lieutenant. They really died in that fucking box. You pick this case up, you might eat those open murders. But you let it pass. You gotta ask yourself how you want to live your day-to-day.
So Daniels comes to Rawls and he says, I got your murders. And, you know, he kind of clarifies, but I better get what I need. No bullshit, no arguments. And again, Rawls manages to smile like an asshole. It is amazing to me just how he pulls that off.
Yeah.
Oh, last bit for this thread here. Daniels is talking to Marla, and he is trying to convince her that he's made a good decision here. And he just says, look, I love the job. I can't help it. And she says the job doesn't love you.
Yep.
and he sucks up to her about telling her what he saw in her when they first met, and she tells him that basically she misses the ambition he had when they first met. And man, that is ouch.
Yeah.
That is a huge insult, dude. I don't know how you recover from that.
Yeah.
I love the job, Mom. I can't help it.
The job doesn't love you.
You know what I love? The mind that's always a step ahead of me. The person who never stops thinking it through. That's what I fell in love with first.
You know what I fell in love with first? Do you? Your ambition. Where'd that man go?
Well, so yeah, that was gonna be my question. So
Oh my God.
What's your read on their situation?
I don't. That's like that. That would be just serious counseling for me. I mean, that's not. You don't say that to somebody in a marriage. No way.
Yep.
Dude, that's bad, I think.
Okay, so I got to rewind a little bit. I got a couple little details here and there, but because I mean, like
it's a lot.
You went through everything, and I felt like you were flowing so well. I didn't want to interrupt anything. as I want to do, I was like, no, let her go. So just want to mention that the strip club that they left, the Gentleman's Gold Club, real strip club.
Oh,
so
okay.
Good authenticity there.
Nice.
Let's see, and actually, so I had one. Your comment about it being tense, it really is quite. You're right. Like again, it really is quite stressful because you're watching the thing. They got to transfer.
Yes, I'm
who's
just
got
like,
the eyeball.
oh my God, yeah. Are they gonna lose it?
Yeah, and so that was. I didn't sort of think about it at the time. This time through, but you're right. It was really for the first time watching through. It's really are they gonna lose it and so on. Do you think that there's a symbol? I was trying to figure out about like pyramid. Do you feel like there's symbolism to that? I don't know. I can't tell. And maybe I'm once again reading far too much into it. But
could be.
Person at the top and
didn't
everybody
strike
else
me at the time.
A little bit of a pyramid scheme is the drug game. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. And then as you mentioned, Prop Joe. So the thing I wanted to just comment about Prop Joe, because I don't think in season 1 the unit ever identifies Prop Joe.
No.
They never see them.
No.
But because Kima worked in narcotics. That's how I figured that she recognized him.
Exactly.
So,
that was what I was thinking too. That she must know him from that.
Yeah. So that was, but it was like if you kind of forgot about that, you're well, how does she know who that is?
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So and then so the last thing is, as you mentioned, Freeman to Daniels and then Daniels to Marla. So Freeman, I feel like. Well, what he delivers, it is a guilt trip, but I don't know that it's. I'm trying to think if it's more like he's trying to appeal to Daniel's sort of what made him want to be a police in the first place.
It's a sense of justice, right?
So,
I totally agree. It's not like he's making up shit. It's not like he's not even laying it on that thick.
A good cop would do it.
Yeah, no, he's not even like think about those women and what they, he's just like this is the right thing to do. And he puts it pretty simply, but it is enough to make Daniels feel guilty and change his mind about it.
Yeah, I mean exactly, and I think that whereas he was saying like I'm playing their game this time, but he's not really, he's not trying to play the game.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to play the game. He just wants to do good police work.
Right.
So, and so for him to say I love the job at the end, it reminds me of what Kima said in episode 3, and then what is episode 10 or whatever when she had shot. It's like, just that being a police officer, a good police officer makes her proud, and I think for Daniels it's the same thing. It's so here's my question to you is, do you feel that Marla Daniels is justified in feeling betrayed by Daniels' change, essentially ignoring everything that she's tried to tell him?
No.
You don't think she's justified?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. I mean, you know your partner. And I mean, like, ultimately, you should want your partner to be happy at what they do. And I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's
I
perfectly
don't
fair.
think so.
I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I think that I've on the Wire subreddit, Marla Daniels is one of the most hated characters.
Okay.
And I feel like, I don't know, whenever I see somebody like people getting ganged up on, my instinct is to try to like play devil's advocate and try to represent that person.
Right.
And the best I can come up with is Daniels committed earlier in this season to essentially starting a new life.
Yeah.
And Marla had this vision that this is what their new life was going to be, and Daniels essentially turned away from that. And so for her, he was turning away from her.
Yeah.
I agree with you that even that said, like, okay, rather than just abandoning, just turning your back now and as response, try to work through it if you can.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. But but that was the most charitable kind of way I could frame it for Marla Daniels. Because I tend
to me, it's not like, I could get it if he's like, oh, I want to be a rock star.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I will get a regular day-to-day job and be a good husband. No, I'm going back to being a rock star again.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Like, he's still, gainfully employed.
Right.
And what does she do again?
It's not clear in this. It's not clear yet.
Okay, because I feel like she has she works in some sort of legal, I don't know, in the sense that I have had from what I can gather, I think maybe there's something mentioned back in the first season when the guy thinks he's a chauffeur.
Yeah.
Day thinks he's a chauffeur.
Yeah.
Something about anyways, from my sense of what she does and what circles she runs in, him being a lawyer is a better fit for her life and what she does than him being a cop. I guess that's why it kind of bothers me, and I could be wrong about that because, like I said, I don't really know what she does, but that is the sense that I've got, is that him being a lawyer would be more fitting for that.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what what that role is. I mean, obviously there were a lot of politicians there and things like that at that dinner. And she makes some kind of comment about staying awake so I think she might be like a community organizer or something like that. That I'm totally reaching. I'll have to go back and listen to some of that dialogue, but it is something to do with more city. So you might be right that having a lawyer for a husband might actually be a little bit more prestigious, but I think maybe more to the point, she is expecting this to go badly for Cedric, right. And so what probably would look bad is having a husband who's been a lieutenant for 15 years or whatever. Like, that probably wouldn't look great,
right?
Irrespective of the fact that he's doing good police work.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll let me go back and I'll do a little homework. I'll go back and try to scope out what she's actually doing. But in any case, all right. Well, that brings us to the end of what was that thread called?
I called that one Screen Time Finally Pays Off.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of layers to that one.
But I wanted to call out. I thought the detail that you pulled together about how Herc and Carver. That was how the thread with the unit starts to get wound into Nick Sabatka.
Yes, dude, that
really beautiful.
Excellent. I was like,
out.
Holy smokes! I did not expect that. It is delightful that it happened to me. I mean, even though I'm worried about Nick, but it was kind of just like, oh yes, stuff's coming together.
Yep.
All right, so let's move on here to poor Frank's got no fucks left to give. So Frank is at a presentation on robotics, the role of robotics for moving cargo. Apparently this is what the Dutch are doing now, and they're moving more cargo and so much more, and it's safer and blah, blah, blah. And Frank looks beyond annoyed by this, as do some of the other dock guys. And he says, what kind of man hours? And the guy's like, well, I can't answer that question, but I can say that there are far fewer accidents. And I mean, obviously there are fewer accidents. There's fewer people working there. We know Frank is clearly worried about the jobs. We see Nat is there, and later Nat meets up with Frank and he says, hey, it's time to alternate the leadership. He says Ott is up next. We know Ott's a black man. And so it's kind of like, making sure, being equitable in the representation for that union leader role. But Frank says, I really just want to finish what I've started here.
Look, it's one thing you taking a run at this dredging thing. Fucked up as you are, we can let that slide for a while, but now, man, you asking too much.
One more year, Nat. Not for me, for the fucking union.
The election's been scheduled. And you knew last year when we gave you the votes that this time was gonna be Ott's turn. You knew that.
So I runs next time, and fuck it, it'll take that year and the next.
It's our turn, Frank.
Black, white, what's the difference, Nat? Until we get that fucking canal dredged, we're all niggers. Pardon my French.
Or Polacks, pardon mine.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't about Ott. I just want one more year to finish what I started here. One more year. Then Ott stays secretary-treasurer for the next 2, no problem. Think about it.
I really would like to have that chance. And you could tell Nat kind of thinks about it and leaves. And in that moment, Frank makes a call to Bruce, the lobbyist guy, right? So now he's meeting with Bruce, and I think he's looking at like the proposed budget, maybe. And he sees that there's no dredging, but that the grain pier is still in there. And Frank takes a moment. He asks about Bruce's son and where he's going to college. And Bruce says that he's going to Princeton. And he said, well, what's he going to do? Well, he gets to do whatever he wants to do. And Frank then tells Bruce a story about how some guy stole what they thought was cognac off of one of the ships. Only to find out that it was Tang. Anyways, the point of the story is kind of like, just because astronauts drank Tang doesn't mean that anyone else who drinks Tang becomes an astronaut, right? And just, kind of just like saying, your kid, you and your kid, they've got all these opportunities. These guys don't have that. And Bruce tries to say, my grandpa was I don't know, his grandpa or his dad or somebody was a knife sharpener. And, they fought hard for me to have, these opportunities and blah, blah, blah. And he, Frank's just like, it's not like that here. If your dad did this, then you do this. That's the way it works. And he grabs a shoe box and throws it on the table, and he opens it up, and it's a box of cash. And he, I don't know who's on the dartboard. You can tell me that in a minute because I bet you looked it up.
I did.
He grabs a dart and he's like holding it like a shiv or something that, up to Bruce. And he's like, here's the money, but you better talk about the grain period. You better make sure that they talk about the canal. Yeah, he is like angry, and he just kind of throws it down and storms out of there.
Yep.
Your son, the oldest one, he goes to what school?
Jason's at Princeton.
Princeton. And after he graduates, he's gonna do what?
Whatever he wants.
Right. You sent him to Princeton to do whatever the fuck he wants. Back when we was kids, Danny Hare's father stole a couple cases of cognac off a ship. Except when he gets it home, it ain't cognac. It's Tang.
Tang.
Just invented. TV was saying it's what the astronauts drank on their way to the moon. You drink it, well...
Then you could be an astronaut, too.
All summer long, that shit was all the Hare kids drank. Tang with breakfast, Tang with lunch. Tang when they woke up scared in the middle of the night. What do you think they grew up to be? Stevedores. What the fuck you think? Something tells me Jason DiBiago will grow up and squeeze a buck the way his old man did.
You're out of line, Frank. My great-grandfather was a knife sharpener. Yeah. Pushed a grinding stone up Preston Street to Alice Ann, one leg shorter than the other from pumping the wheel. And since he didn't want his sons to push the goddamn thing, he made sure my grandfather finished high school and my old man went to any college that would take him.
You're talking history, right? I'm talking now. Because down here it's still, who's your old man till you got kids of your own? Then it's, who's your son? But after the horror movie I seen today, robots. Pier's full of robots. My kid'll be lucky if he's even punching numbers 5 years from now. And while it don't mean shit to me that I can't take my steak knives to DiBiago and Sons, it breaks my fucking heart that there's no future for the Sabatkas on the waterfront. Here, Brucey. I think they're your size. I'm operating under the assumption that because of your relentless diligence, the funding for the grain pier is going to pass the assembly. But I'm also talking about the canal. So you're going to talk about the canal. So the Muldoons who run the old line state, they're going to talk about the canal until someday, some way, that motherfucker gets dredged and we get some ships in here.
Who's on the dartboard?
His name is Robert Ursay.
Okay.
He was the owner of the Colts, the Baltimore Colts.
Oh.
And they were the team that left Baltimore in the middle of the night for Indianapolis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I see.
That was his claim to fame, at least around Baltimore. I'm sure he did other stuff, other shady shit.
The people don't like him. No. Okay,
but
got it.
that was
That's
and
why they were
that
destroying
picture of him is from his Baltimore Colts days, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I think that thread is almost done, so I'll let you keep going.
Okay, well, back in Dolores's, I think Slala and another guy are trying to convince Ziggy that he can take on Maui.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it doesn't matter because I think it's Ott that comes in and says, man down, New Charles, berth 5.
Mm-hmm.
And they get out there, and New Charles is on the ground, and his leg is crushed by a container. Like, they lift it up, and it looks like gross, dude. It looks flat.
Yeah.
It looks bloody. They give him a drag off a cigarette. The ambulance is coming. New Charles is like, how does it look? It's like, oh, which one?
Yeah.
So it's bad. It looks terrible.
Yep.
You know he's going to lose it even without them saying it. Later on, Frank checks in with the wife of New Charles, and, he comes and offers her a yellow envelope. You already know what's going to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gigantic wad of cash. It's from the guys at 1514. He goes outside. There's a whole bunch of other guys that are waiting outside or hanging out outside of New Charles' home. Nat tells him how New Charles got his nickname. The previous guy, Charles,
Mm-hmm.
was killed in the line of work. But he does also ask Frank about the money.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time.
Yeah.
And so we know Nat is pretty concerned about that.
Yep.
So that's that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, this is what we talked about this before of how it's just not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
Right? And
Nope.
so, and it's, so I want to bring up here the interview with Rafael Alvarez, the writer for this episode. This is him giving an answer to Alan Sepinwall. He was saying, an old union man named Gilbert Lukowski told me that no matter how convenient and affordable new technology made life for management, quote, you can't just take a man in the middle of his working life and throw him on the junk pile. So he said, I never forget, and I tried to instill in as much of that philosophy as possible into Frank Zabaka as we built that character. So you can see that that Frank's heart is in the right place.
Yes.
He wants to slow down the technology. He
Yep.
wants to make the port, he wants to get more jobs for the port workers, the
Right.
stevedores, but he sees this kind of cost of doing business, right,
Yeah.
in New Charles,
Yep.
and it's, how do you get around that? And I think that his speech to Bruce DiBiago about who's your old man until you have kids of your own, then who's your son, you really feels like you're trapped in this cycle, right? I mean, it's not just your dad wants you to be in the business because he was in the business. It's he feels external pressure to raise a son
Right.
that follows in the business. And then, once you get old enough, so that's your focus,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of like, okay, well, you've got to look up to your old man.
Yeah.
And then, and then once you get old enough to make a name for yourself, then that is what your old man is like. That's where he gets, whatever glory he might get or that kind of thing. It's just feels like a very vicious cycle, but in a weird way, the image that comes to mind is we talked about last season about the crabs pulling each other down. It's not quite that, it's not like in a addictive kind of way, addiction kind of way, but there's still that feeling of you can't break out because there's so much inertia among the group or whatever. I don't know. So
I know it is interesting because Frank indicates in the previous episode that one of his sons did go to community college. Yeah. So it's like there's a way out, but I don't know why Ziggy. I guess Ziggy doesn't because he didn't want to. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But then meanwhile, of course, like Frank, your son's a fuck up. Like,
yeah, I know. Oh my God, seriously.
Like that's not it's interesting that he says who's your son. It's like you don't even seem to do anything to kind of groom your son into being a better stevedore.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah. So and then as we talked about, like, so he pays, I don't know how much was there, probably $3,000 something like that, probably a couple months worth of rent maybe something like that. But then what?
Right.
So just kind of a that's the open question that wasn't really answered, is like, okay, what's that family going to do next? I don't know. So, and I don't, you were part of a union, so I don't know if like there would be presumably health insurance and, disability insurance, stuff like that. So I imagine that's part of the union contract, I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
Should be.
So at least there's that.
Should be what the union is working for.
Yeah. But disability insurance isn't like covering the salary you once had.
Right.
So you still have to supplement it somehow.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's all I got for that.
Okay. Well, let me see here. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
All the single Jimmies. So McNulty and Elena are on the back porch and they are watching and listening to the boys in the tent, and they're laughing, and the kids are being silly and cute, and he gives her the look. The look, and she says no, and I don't trust you. She says, I can care about you. I can want us to be friends. If you give me enough time, I can want you to be happy. But how am I supposed to trust you?
Mm-hmm.
And, she gets up, she goes in the tent and is, pretending to be Monster with the kids, and they're yelling and laughing. And he's just watching them, their silhouettes through the tent and realizing just how much he effed up.
Yep.
And that's kind of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that he's going to try anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's done.
Okay. Well, we'll write that down.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to pursue Elena anymore.
Okay. I mean, she, made it very clear.
Yeah. Well, I thought she made it clear earlier, Chris, but jeez. But now this is enough times. Like, this is like, just even story-wise, it's like 3 times. And then you kind of like, that's it.
Yeah.
In 3s. So I feel like we've hit that 3rd time.
Okay.
And it didn't work. And so that means the answer is really, really no.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, we will take that. Yeah. And what the interesting thing that Alan Sepinwall commented about this episode is that this is the only time we see Jimmy McNulty in this entire episode. And it's kind of remarkable that you don't really even realize it.
I know.
It's like 50 minutes in or 50 plus minutes, and you're like, oh, that's right, Jimmy's somewhere around here. So that whole thread that we saw last time is not really relevant. So so just kind of that part was interesting. But yeah, I think it's also really important. If you'd added other stuff, I think it would have made this scene a little less impactful.
Agreed.
Right? But this is just the one button on their relationship, and now it's all tied off. And I think, as you said there, I think your read on it makes sense. And so we'll see how it plays out.
I know he's not going to try anymore, but I wonder if like the other stuff is going to stick too.
Like what?
Well, because like part of his, what he was saying to convince her that he was changed is, the not drinking so much, done with drinking, done with women, and also like just his, I think, I don't know if he explained that to her so much, but like his obsession with being in homicide and being murder police and, obsessively following these cases.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he does tell her, like, I'm retired. And
Yeah.
I'm working in the Marine unit, which he doesn't have a way out of. So that one will stick, I guess. But I don't know about the other ones. If he... Did he just change his ways to get his wife back? Or did he change his ways because he really wants to change his ways? And now he's not getting his wife back. So
What do you think?
I think he's not going to change his ways. I don't. I wish he would, but that's not very good entertainment. So.
Well, the one thing that stands out to me is that he is drunk off his ass.
Yeah.
When he says Elena and I are going to try again.
Yes,
and then
that's
the next
true.
night he's like, "Yeah, I gave up drinking."
I know, right? Like that's the thing. It's like he didn't really try to change.
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
was saying that he had changed.
Yeah.
So we're like doing it just enough in his own mind to convince.
Yeah, exactly.
Himself.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if he had, if that first night when he, they end up back in bed together, and if she had accepted him back into her house, maybe.
Yeah, I still don't think it would have been lasting change.
Okay.
Yeah, because he didn't do the work.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good enough
You
then.
got to do the work.
Okay. All right. Well, that gets us to the end, right?
Yeah,
Is
it
that
gets
it?
us to the end.
Okay. All right. So let's get us to our categories.
Okay.
So the music, not a ton of music in this one. Love Child obviously was pretty common. So Love Child about a woman who has a child out of wedlock. Not a lot of mystery there.
Nope.
The music that Beatty was listening to when she was driving through the port.
Oh yeah.
Olga by the Cubas Tecas, which I
Tecas.
could not find any lyrics for or anything like that.
Okay.
So, we were talking about this before, listener. I thought it was Oye Como Va, so that makes me a little bit racist, but not hopefully too bad. Not a ton of callbacks. I mean, the 221 building. We haven't seen the two. Oh no, we have. That's where Bodhi is working. So
yeah.
So 221 building. But of course, that's where D'Angelo first gets off the bus, sees Stringer, and that's when he gets sent over the pit. Is at the 221.
Oh gosh.
So yeah.
Oof.
So there you go.
Callback.
So yeah, that's a little callback for you. All right, but let's get to the last couple of comments or the categories. Killer cameo. There's a lot. Jesus on the Mainline guy.
Jesus on the Mainline guy. Whew.
You know what? I was going to give it to the florist, but you know what?
Okay.
The problem is, this isn't the last we've seen of him. So
it's not.
So
Okay.
I can't really. I
Okay.
was like, well,
That doesn't count. Man. You can't.
it's not.
It's not
anyway,
one and done.
Yeah, it's not one and done. So can't give it to. So Jesus on the Mainline guy, he gets it. I mean, he really does a great job. So
has a beautiful voice.
yes, yeah. I didn't even look up the Jesus on the Mainline. Not that there's a lot of complexity to that song either, but anyway.
Just calling up Jesus on the phone.
Tell him what you want. Tell him what you want. Okay, so let's get to the Mr. Nuggets life lessons. Anything you have?
What do I have? I have, man, like in marriage, like you marry somebody for their ambition?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I would counsel against that. I really would. I think that says a lot more about you than it says about your partner. There you go. That's my life lesson.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Okay. I wish I had gone. I wish I had gone first.
It's not a bad quality, but it's just like if that is somebody's ambition is like the number one thing that you're attracted to in them, that is, you better look at yourself.
You're right.
Yeah,
right.
dude. That's that. I guess that's what bothers me about Marla.
Okay.
Now that I'm dissecting that.
Okay, because it doesn't leave any room for, if your ambition, your career ambition, and let's say you find a place where you're happy and you,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Happiness.
Yeah.
Contentment.
Well, and actually that dovetails into what I was going to say. So let me just. So I was going to say though, don't expect a job to love you back. We've said this a few times.
Yeah.
So that's not quite connected, but I did want to. She says the job doesn't love you back.
Right.
But that isn't why you should do a job.
Right.
Right. You should ideally not. Now, I say this, and I know that it's a fairy tale to find a job that you like because you take whatever job you is going to pay the bills that you can. That is somewhat passable.
Yeah.
But that said, if you know what motivates you, and you can do something related to what motivates you, go do that thing.
Right.
And so hopefully the job unto itself is enough.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not and you need to move up the ladder, then it might not be the right job for you. And actually, I think that's why I like what you said quite a lot, because, you know, does that mean that he has to keep going up forever and ever and ever?
Exactly.
You know? And so, yeah. And also, like, be willing to grow with your partner, change with your partner and you know, appreciate the new circumstances and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's good. I like that. Marriage tips from Ellie Peters.
There you go.
Okay, well, that's the life lessons for us. So I think that gets us to the end. So now we need to have your predictions. So we do have
some, right?
McNulty's not going to pursue anymore.
No.
Is that everything?
Let me see here. Okay. Whew. Let me see here. I got to think about Stringer and Avon here, because they got to do something about these drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not gonna work.
Yep.
But okay, I think Stringer's gonna have to do what Avon says.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have to keep on selling it, and I think there's gonna be like some kind of a revolt or something. Something's gonna have to push Avon's hand. I think there's gonna be like a revolt or something. They're just, maybe they boycott.
Who's boycott?
The users.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fiends.
Okay.
As they would call them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me see here.
So we got now the unit and Sabatka, Nick Sabatka, are now intertwined.
I know, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that, because I just don't think that they're gonna try to make. Are they gonna try to make Nick a CI? Because they're talking about CI and payment, but wait a second. So, Chris, how did they find out Nick's name?
When Nick is talking to Frog,
Yeah.
they get pictures of Nick's truck's license plate.
Okay, got you. Okay, I guess they're going to try to get him to be a CI. That doesn't make sense to me, but I guess that's what they're going to do.
Okay.
No, your reaction already is telling me
I
that's
didn't.
not right. I'm way
I promise
off.
I didn't. I was stone faced.
He does not make eye contact. He looks up at the ceiling and he just kind of does a very bare minimum nod and says, "Okay," and then I know.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. But I won't tell you what happens. But what I was trying to do is trying to get back to what led you to that conclusion. That's all. It was like, and you know, and I know that they talk about the bug and making money. So I see what you're saying. So
I don't know,
okay,
dude.
you know what I'm going to do though. You know what I'm going to do
No good.
is you are making a prediction about the CI. There is follow up. So I'm just going to say there's going to be follow up on the CI. So,
okay. All right. That's okay. Soft lob. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay.
All right.
Let's see what's going on with Frank.
Okay, so Frank is. See, something's going to go on with Nat, because Nat knows now something is fishy here. I think Nat's going to start doing some investigation of his own.
Oh, okay.
And get something that makes him really concerned.
Interesting. Okay.
And then let me see here. We've got they're following the can. I don't think anything's going to happen with that in this next one yet.
Okay.
No. I mean, they're going to start thinking, okay, there's drugs in there, obviously. They're going to take that back to the team and take that back to Daniels, but I don't know that anything else is going to happen with it at this point.
Okay.
All right. I think did that take care of everything?
That's good.
Okay.
So, you know, that did remind me of something which I think is really important again. You know, and I skipped over it just because we covered a lot of ground and I kind of forgot, is when Rhonda Perlman was basically pushing back on getting wiretaps.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was really important for anybody that's kind of watching this and is used to other cop shows, is that it really goes to show how you can't just get a case, you know, get a wiretap, get a warrant just because, well, there's got to be some illegal shit happening.
Right.
Right? Come on. We already, you know, this was the, you know, just if you actually connect the dots, or like actually do the work to connect the dots. So you had the inciting event of the can full of women.
Mm-hmm.
being left on the docks and they're left. Wait, that, and then clearly they're taking these off the docks illegally.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be connected. It's like, well, how are you connecting those things? Just because, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it just really goes to show that even with the connection to the dead women, you know, and Beatty kind of says, wait, I don't know if they were prostitutes, that would be one thing, in which Rhonda says the annotated code says so, but nevertheless, even that I feel like would be a hard sell, because how do you connect with the work that Sabatka is doing?
Mm-hmm.
How do you connect it to that, to it
exactly.
actually, that actual case? And I don't see how you do it. So the point is that most cop shows just completely gloss over that. Oh, well, we'll just get a warrant, or we'll get a wiretap, or we'll, you know, whatever else. I mean, Heat is one of my favorite movies of all time. And they get wiretaps on the criminal guys because one guy knew another guy.
Right.
And it's like, I don't think how the Fourth Amendment would smile upon that. So the point is, you know, like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, entertainment is entertainment, but The Wire, just reminder that if you ever want realism, The Wire's hewing really close to it, and it's just a good reminder. And that's why the show goes so slowly, is because it takes a hell of a long time to actually build this stuff up.
Yes, exactly.
So anyway.
They're taking you through the whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no love at all for Donald Trump, but people are like, we should lock him up. And you're like, lock him up for what?
Yeah, I know.
For God's sake.
Right.
Like, they're like, what crime?
Right.
Yes. Oh, I don't know. He did some shit. Yes, he probably did. He probably did. I'm not trying to defend. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. We've just lost one of our listeners out of the two. So anyway, okay, enough about that. Okay, well, so let me see if there's anything else about... Oh, the knife sharpener story.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that. That was a story. Was actually, believe it or not, Frank Zappa would tell this story.
Is that right?
So he lived in Baltimore, and he would see a guy with a big wheel and a knife sharpener, and he would come up an alley, and all the people would come out and have their knife sharpened by this guy, and that was the inspiration for this story. And so, you know, just there is something really interesting about that. Now, you know, we kind of skipped over that as well, but like, I did think it was very interesting that the lobbyist, Bruce DiBiago. Now, you know, lobbyists, I think quite rightly, have a terrible reputation, but at the same time, it was not wanting his son, the knife sharpener's son, to be forced to do this kind of drudgery, right? So he did what he could to help accelerate his kid.
Yeah.
And Sabatka, it just like lands. It doesn't land at all.
It doesn't.
Like, it breaks my heart that they're like, yeah, that's the way technology works. Like, you have a job where working at night, you might lose your leg. It's like, that's not a job that is sustainable. No one is going to want to do that, let alone, you know, unless they're getting paid tons and tons of money. Like, there are dangerous jobs out there, but generally the pay goes up. You're not struggling to make rent. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. So, okay, I think that was the last I had. So that brings us at the end.
Okay.
All right. So we will be back next week with season 2, episode 8, Duck and Cover. So we did. I made the comment last time that it was all nautical theme. No, not quite. There are a couple that are not.
Well,
so
I don't know. No.
Yeah, throw me a bone here. No,
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, duck cloth is on a boat. You put a cover on a boat.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
No, because the next two are not nautical themes. So anyway, my claim was completely irrelevant.
I did like the nautical ones.
Yeah, it seemed like they were sticking with it for a while, and the fact that all prologue just like is still kind of way out of that one is the. One of these is not like the other. Even with the other, I mean, Duck and Cover is still kind of a metaphor for something.
Right.
So.
Yeah, all prologue is definitely a different one.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. Well, thank you as always, Ellie.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, friends, and thanks for listening. We will see you all next week.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye. The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time.
What I need from you, I get. No bullshit, no arguments.